Which one of the following describe the best the concept of Nirvana in Buddhism? Like I told you, Nirvana in Buddhism. Okay, that is karma is there because of desire. You have to deal with that desire first, and then you stop acquiring rebirth. So just we'll understand that concept first. That one, extinction of the flame of desire, complete annihilation of the self, state of bliss and rest, and a mental stage beyond all comprehension. So answer we know, that is answer is extinction of the flame of desire. So Buddha says that one, that is most of the reasons for dukkha is desire. So once you extinguish the desire, you will stop acquiring rebirth, and that is when you attain nirvana. Okay, so now how do we understand this concept? Through philosophy and teachings of Buddha. How do we understand this particular concept of nirvana in Buddhism? Through his teachings. And all his teachings, Buddha's teachings, can be categorized into the 4 noble truths and then again Eightfold Path. That is also called as Astangika Marga. 4 noble truths also called as Ariya Satchani. Okay, so Ariya Satchani, Eightfold Path is also called as Astangika Marga. Okay, Astangika Marga. Now first, what are 4 noble truths? He says that one world is full of sufferings, sorrow or dukkha, he says that one. It's said by Buddha. And there is a reason for the sorrow and sufferings. Okay, there is a reason for the sorrow and sufferings, and that is called as what? That is dukkha samudaya. Okay, and that is, what is this dukkha samudaya? That we can talk about the desire, also called as trishna, and again ignorance, and again attachment. So all these 3 contribute for this particularly dukkha. Okay, that is sufferings. World is full of sufferings, and the sufferings have a reason, and the reasoning are 3 reasons are 3. That is desire, attachment, and ignorance. And what Buddha talks about, that you can, sufferings could be removed. You can remove these sufferings, and that is called as nirodha. The third one. First one, there is sufferings. Sufferings have a reason, and you can remove these sufferings through nirodha. The concept is called as nirodha. At the same time, how do you remove this nirodha is that one. That is how do you remove these sufferings is following Eightfold Path. That Astangika Marga. That is, we will understand what this Eightfold Path is. Okay, so that is, we are talking about ultimate philosophy of Buddhism, and for that we need to understand the teachings of Buddha first. So these are the first teachings of Buddha. That is the 4 noble truths, and first you need to know about these 4 noble truths. That is also one of the Astangika Margas itself only. So now we'll come to meanings of this Astangika Marga. First and foremost, the right understanding, right view, also called as Sammaditthi. Now what is this right understanding is that one? First you need to understand the world. That world is that one, knowing the truth of the world, that is 4 nobles truth. Okay, that world is full of sufferings. Sufferings have a reason, and you can remove these sufferings through Astangika Marga. And what is the second Eightfold Path? Right intention or right aim, also called as Samma Sankappa. What is the right intention? That is to freeing the mind of evil thoughts, avoid luxuries, senses and temptation, and at the same time love humanity and increase happiness of others. Okay, these are very simple teachings. That is what I told you. That is why people got attracted to these teachings is that one. It's a very simple, very moral way of life. That is what Buddha and Mahavira emphasize upon. Unlike the previous time period, that is later Vedic time period, we talked about the sacrifices and rituals which were quite complex and materialistic. And 2 Eightfold Path, the right view and understanding, right intention. Okay. At the same time, third one we will talk about right speech, and that is speaking only the truth. Again, this again inspired Gandhiji also in later time period. Okay. Speak only the truth, and that's what the right speech talks about. There is a 4th path, 5th, there is a 3rd path, and the 4th path is out of the 8. There is a right action. There is Samma Kammanta. What is the right action? That's unselfish action. The right action is unselfish action. You have to take it. At the same time, no action that causes bad to others. So whatever the action you are taking, that should not hurt others. Okay, so the right view and understanding, okay, and set the right speech, the right action. So these are very, very simple to understand for the common people, and particularly the people of Vaishyas and Shudras got attracted to these particular teachings. And no violence, there is non-violence. Your action should not cause any kind of violence to others, and should not be intention with any kind of violence too. And also should have the right intention, like we talked about the 2nd path. And there are no intoxicants. Do not consume, we can say, intoxicants which can harm your health. And that is what Buddhism is talking about. That is, these are the, out of the Eightfold Path, we discuss the first 4. There is a right view and understanding, right intention, then again right speech, then again right action. Which are next 4 are there. There are right livelihood. That is earning in the right way. Live by honest means. You have to live by honest means. Okay. At the same time, earning in the right way. So you have to earn And that is the reason, that is most of the time, that is a trading, that is Vaishyas, they took it that one, that is they are earning in the right way. That is the reason most of the people who supported Buddhism, they came from Vaishyas background. At the same time, right effort, that's Samma Vayama, that's keep improving your oneself, and you have to keep on transforming yourself, you have to keep on evolving yourself, and at the same time resist the evil things, resist the evil thoughts, resist the bad thoughts. Okay, right effort should always be there. Okay, so right view, right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort. Okay, effort to improve yourself, effort to transform according to the times evolve, transform according to the times evolve. Then last two, like right concentration, that is practice meditation to control your senses, to control your temptations. Okay, and at the same time, lastly, right mindfulness, and the right mindfulness is that one, that is self-aware, knowing your own self, knowing about your own self, and what are the we can talk about your weaknesses, your strengths, and everything should be aware about through right mindfulness. So these are very, very simple to understand. Okay, so that attracted millions of people, and today also that is Buddhism has spread to various other countries also. And these are the general teachings of Buddha he gave in first sermon, and that is again translated in Sutta Pitaka. At the same time, that is concluded, or we can say that is collected in Sutta Pitaka. And then Vinaya Pitaka talks about the rules and regulations for the monks, and the general teachings of Buddha as well as the philosophical teachings of Buddha that comes through the general teachings. What is the general teachings? We talk about the theory of karma. Theory of karma, that is, it is quite integral to most of the religions today. We can talk about Hinduism also, Jainism also, as well as Buddhism also. Buddhism also talks about theory of karma. What is theory of karma? That is, your present is determined by the past actions, and your future will also determined by the present actions. As simple as that one. You were born again and again. What Buddhism talks about, you have to free from rebirths. Okay, you have to free from rebirth. But if you, what karma talks about that one? If you have a bad karma, okay, so that is through desires and everything, you keep taking rebirths. If you keep taking rebirths in different realms, not actually as another human being only, does not have to be. We'll come to the soul concept as well as rebirth concept of Buddhism. So it talks about that is, he born again and again, that is called as samsara, to reap this karma. To reap this particularly karma. And if no sins committed, at the same time, if you have extinguished the flame of desire, if there is no desire, you will not be committing any kind of sins. And at the same time, if no sins committed, you will not take any kind of birth. Okay, and that life is liberated. So ultimately, you eliminate desire, you eliminate karma, you eliminate taking rebirths, and that life is liberated. And that is the major understanding of Buddhism. Okay, and he also talks about theory of karma. In the theory of karma, it states that every individual ultimately creates his or our own destiny. Okay, very simple. So that is, instead of sacrifices and rituals and everything, which was the order of the day during that period of time, and now the Buddha and Jainism and Mahavira, they gave a different kind of teachings. We are very, very simple to understand. Okay, very, very simple to understand. And now we'll come to the philosophy of Buddha. And within the philosophy of Buddha, that is talks about the God concept. What is philosophy? First and foremost, we need to understand. The philosophy talks about the relation between God, soul, rebirth, and everything. So in this philosophy, Buddhism talks about, or Buddha says, he neither accepts the God or nor rejected the concept of God. So he never given any kind of perfect answer whether the God exists or not. And he talks about one concept called as anicca. So what is anicca concept is impermanence. It means everything is transient. So everything keeps on changing. What is the example that is given in Buddhism is that one? That is, to take the example of a river. Okay, entire river is made up of water, drops of water. But, entire river is drops of water, but the drops of water keeps on changing. So river seems the same, entire river seems the same, one single entity, but the drops of water that constitute it are changing in nature, and that is called as anicca, or impermanence, transient in nature. So because everything is transient, and that is the reason they don't believe in soul. There is no they don't believe in the permanent soul, because everything is anicca. Because anicca is rejected any permanent self. So that is the reason Buddhism rejects soul concept. Okay, and that is the reason it's called as anatta, also called as anatman. But in Hinduism, what happens is that the soul is permanent and transmigrates. But in Buddhism, there is no permanent soul is there. But there is a kind of debatable aspect is there. If they don't believe in soul, but they believe in rebirth into another realm. Realm means another world. They say that one soul may not transmigrate like in Hinduism, but the personality or the character transmigrates. The karma transmigrates, and that is the basic belief system of Buddhism. That is the basic philosophy of Buddhism. And how this karma transmigrates, we can understand through an example. If you are lighting one candle, you are using another candle, but both are independent in each other, and that is how they talks about there is migration of that karma concept. And also talks about the milk turning into curd and butter, and that example is given in Milinda Panna. Okay, this question was asked, Milinda Panna question. Okay, so in 2023 prelims, we talk about the literature team. We'll also come back to that one. So these are example to understand how the rebirths happen. But in Hinduism, they say that one, the soul transmigrates. But here they talks about the soul does not transmigrate in Buddhism, but the karma that transmigrates. One example, the milk turning into curd or butter, and one candle. I think we'll start from philosophy of Buddha. I think some of you might have missed. That is philosophy of Buddha. I think very simple. That is neither accepted nor rejected the concept of God. And again, Buddhism believes in the concept of anicca. It means impermanence or transient, we can say. That is a transient in the sense that one. That is, we can give the example of river. The river seems the same, but the droplets keeps on changing. And that is the reason Buddhism also believes that is nothing stays the same. Everything keeps on changing. Okay. And also did not believe in the concept of Atma or soul. And because if nothing is permanent, because everything is transient, and that is the reason we cannot believe in the concept of Atma. That is the reason there is a concept called as Anatta. But in Hinduism, soul is permanent and transmigrates. But in Buddhism, what happens is that one, the soul which has taken that karma transmigrates instead of the soul itself. Okay, so that is, it can take rebirth into another realm, another world. The transmigration of the personality or the character, and not the soul itself. That's one example that is given in Milinda Panna, which question was asked recently in 2023 prelims. There is milk turning into curd or butter. Okay, that is analogy. And that is milk itself is not transferring, but the one aspect of milk is being transferred into butter and curd. And one candle lighting the another candle. Okay, so both are independent. So that is the concept, that is the example that is given in the Buddhism fables to understand the concept of the next realms, understand the concept of rebirth, to understand the concept of soul, to understand the concept of anicca. These are some of the examples that is given in Buddhist literature as well as Buddhist fables. At the same time, Buddhism believes in 10 different realms, 10 different universes, we can say. One is the humans, one the ghosts, asuras, Shravaka. Okay, so Shravakas also called direct disciples of Buddhism, or we can say listeners of Buddhism. Listeners, that is a term that is also used, and you can take birth into one of those. You can take birth into one of those realms, and even insects also. That is trees also. So different kind of realms concepts are there, and the connection between one realm to the another realm, and that is the karma. Okay, so that is you take your karma from one life to another life. Okay, so there is a like this kind of example. There is a milk turning into that is curd or butter. Okay, the connection between life is the karma, and ultimately when you stop acquiring the karma, that is when you stop taking rebirths. That is when you stop taking rebirths. Okay, so that is the overall concept of Buddhism. And the same Buddhism also says that one, that is when you stop taking karma, when you deal with desire. So all these things are interconnected. And there is a one concept we will understand very simply and very slowly, and that is a Theravada, and that is one of the schools of Buddhism. We'll come to that is Hinayana, Mahayana, and everything will come to. And one school is that Theravada. There is the 4 stages of awakening as there. Okay, so according to this particular school, there's a 4 stages of awakening. Ultimately, you achieve that Arhant stage. Ultimately, achieve that Buddhahood stage. There is a first stage is called as Sotapanna. Okay, also called as stream enterer. Also called as the stream enterer. Okay, that means the stream enterer means you are entering the stream of eightfold path. The right view, right understanding, right actions. Okay, right livelihood. Okay, and also you start believing in the 3 jewels of Buddhism. Which is 3 jewels of Buddhism? And that is, we can talk about Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. And when you start believing in these kind of systems, and that is the eightfold path and 3 jewels, you will take 7 births. Okay, upon the death, you will take the 7 births, because you are not, as of now, after you enter the stream of Buddhism, you have not achieved the complete awakening. When you achieve complete awakening, you stop taking rebirths. When you stop taking rebirths. But as soon as you enter and you start believing in the eightfold path and believe in 7 jewels, after you die, they will take 7 births. Okay. Then again, second stage of awakening is that one, that is Shakadagami. That is once a returner. That is upon death, you return once as human. Because in this stage, you have conquered your lust, hatredness towards others. Okay. So less than 7 births you are going to take, and out of this less than 7 births, 1 birth will be human. And that is the concept called as Shakadagami. I don't think you people have heard about all these kind of concepts. That is, make sure that is because the UPSC is going a little bit deeper. So I thought I would give deeper concepts of Buddhism also. You must have heard about 4 noble truths and eightfold path, but not these 4 stages of awakening, that Sotapanna and Shakadagami. And the third stage is called as Anagami. That is non-returner, because you have overcome all the sensualities. So you will not return to human world, but you will take rebirths in a 5 special words, that is called as Shuddhavasa. Because ultimate goal, Buddhism, I told you, you done away with your desire. Once you done away with your desire, you will be done doing away with what? Karma, and you will not take rebirths. But when you start believing in Buddhism, you will take 7 rebirths upon death. And the second stage, when you conquer something, that you will only take once rebirth as a human. And then again, the third stage, you won't return to human worlds because you have conquered more things. You have conquered sensualities. You will take birth in a 5 special worlds, and that is called as Anagami. And the last stage, that is called as Arhant. Like I told you, right? Arhant, it is a term that is used for person who gained insight. You gained complete insight because you entered Buddhism. You went through different birth phase, different karmas phase, and now you gain the insight, and upon death, you will never reborn anywhere. And that is the ultimate goal of Buddhism. That is, you conquered your desire, you conquered your karmas, you will never acquire any kind of new karmas, and now you will never reborn anywhere. Okay, that is the stage called as Arhant. So Arhant can attain full awakening, and that is Bodhi. Buddha means that is enlightenment again. And Buddhism, Buddha term, that is awakened term, that is related, that is reserved only for Gautama Siddhartha. For the other people in Buddhism who gained insight, and they are called as what? Arhant. Okay, that is a term we talked about that one. Okay, so this is one concept you can understand, that Theravada, 4 stages of awakening. Theravada is one of the schools of Buddhism, and there is Hinayana school of Buddhism, that is Sotapanna, Shakadagami, Anagami, as well as Arhant. Okay, so this is a major meaning of it. Okay, hopefully people got good understanding of that one. The Buddhist philosophy, that is Pratitya samutpada, related to karma itself only. It means law of dependent origin. If this exists and that exists, that is a major meaning. We will understand through example also. That is, it means your our life conditions in this life will influence the next realm life. Okay, so whatever life conditions you have, that is carrying the karma from one life to the other life. Okay, influence the next realm life. That is dukkha in this life due to previous formations. Okay, and certain rebirth due to ignorance. So all these are law of dependent origin. The one life is dependent upon another, and that is called as Pratitya samutpada. So we have talked about the Buddhist basic teachings also, and the basic teachings is, that is the 4 noble truths, Eightfold path, then again the Buddhist philosophy, that is Anicca, Anatta, Sotapanna, Shakadagami, okay, Anagami, then again Arhant, then again Buddhist philosophy of Pratitya samutpada also. So all schools of Buddhism, the various schools of Buddhism are there, the major ones are Hinayana and Mahayana, they all of them accept Pratitya samutpada. All of them accept this particular concept. And then continuing with that one, then the priest Nirvana, that is shed all desire. Let's go back to that question we discussed, the 2013 question, that is shed all desires, and that is the ultimate concept of Nirvana. And when you shed desires, it leads to free from rebirths. When you don't have any desires, you don't acquire any kind of karma, and when no karma, then no rebirths. And that is the ultimate Nirvana, that is a liberated soul. And instead of sacrifices and rituals, which was emphasized by later Vedic times, Buddhism talks about moral conduct of life. Buddhism talks about moral conduct of life. Okay, so that is the philosophy of Buddhism overall. So that is how I told you, it's a reaction against the later Vedic times. So it was a reaction against the later Vedic times. And again, to summarize, the Buddhism middle path, we talked about the middle path. Okay, so that is, you require nourishment. For that nourishment, you don't have to become complete monk. You don't have to live a life of austere. At the same time, no full luxurious life. Neither too luxurious nor austere. Okay, neither too luxurious nor austere life. Okay, and rejected the authority of the Vedas, the Buddhism. Okay, and at the same time, social inequality, because talks about everyone is equal, everyone can join Sangha, and love towards others. These are very, very common things, and there is no need of middlemen to achieve Nirvana. There is no need of middleman. But in Vedic times, what happened is that to achieve Nirvana, that is, you require certain help, and that help is, that is from the priestly help to conduct the sacrifices. Okay, and Nirvana can be attained in this life only, and without any help of middleman. At the same time, certain terms are used for Nirvana in Buddhism, and that is Vimokha, Vimutti, and Arhata. Okay, so these kind of certain terms are used too. And for physical death, one term is used, that is called as Parinirvana or Mahaparinirvana, that is also word that is being used. And Brahmanism that we talked about, that is in Orthodox system, that is, there was a Varna based system was there, which is based upon birth. That is, you born as Brahmana, you born as Kshatriya, born as Vaishya, as well as Shudra. But in Buddhism, what happened is that they believed a different kind of Varna system that should be based on action, that is based on good actions. That is a basic difference between the Orthodox society as well as, that we can say, this new religious idea society. So Varna should be there, but that should be based on action. That should not be based on birth according to that is Vedic system as well as the Brahmanism system. Okay? But if you join Sangha, if you join the Buddhist Sangha, you will be giving up your Varna, and that is called as Vevaniyanti. It means your Varna is not considered because everyone is equal. Vevaniyanti, and this term can be asked. Okay, Parivrajaka term was that. And then one concept as Paramita, that perfectionism in Buddhism. A Buddhist term often translated as perfection. That is perfection who are achieving that awakening stage, and that term is called as Paramita. This question is asked. We will going to solve that question also. And look at this particular question. 2020, with reference to cultural history of India, which one of the following is the correct description of the term Paramitas? Okay. First one, the earliest Dharma Sutra text written in aphoristic sutra style. Philosophical schools that did not accept the authority of the Vedas. Okay. Perfections whose attainment led to the Bodhisattva path. That's exactly. Okay. Powerful merchant guilds of early medieval South India. Okay. So answer is C. The perfections who achieved the Bodhisattva path. The Bodhisattva path means that is the perfection individuals who can attain Nirvana, but they delay it because this is a theme that is repeated so many times. We will solve this particular concept also. The Bodhisattva concept will come to in Buddhism. For that, we need to understand the councils of Buddhism, how the division happened in Buddhism, and we also have to talk about. What are the concept of Bodhisattva and different schools of Buddhism. Okay, everything we are going to talk about, and that is where the questions are also asked, and we will solve those questions too.